Songtrust is the only best in class, universally accessible global publishing administrator. We want to help you access the royalties your songs have earned, so let's get started with how to create your account. From the Songtrust homepage, click the Register button. This will take you to our sign up page where you will enter your personal details, the email that you would like associated with your Songtrust account, and your password. Your password must be at least 6 characters long and include both letters and numbers. Enter your credit card information. We will need this to charge you for your registration fee, and we will keep this information associated with your account in case you want to add additional writers down the line. Note that Songtrust uses a secure platform for credit card information, and no Songtrust employees can access your credit card information. Please make sure all of your information provided is correct because you can't directly change it later on without the help of our client services team. Click here to read through our terms of service and download it if you'd like using the options here. Check the box that you agree and click to submit payment and complete registration. The first step in collecting all your global royalties is adding songwriter information into your new account. In order to work with Songtrust, all songwriters we are collecting for must be affiliated with a PRO. If you or a songwriter whose rights you are authorized to manage do not have an affiliation, you can do so directly from our platform. And we'll go through that process in a moment. If the songwriter does have a PRO affiliation, you'll click yes, they are a member of a PRO. You will choose the PRO they are affiliated with from this drop-down menu, and let's say ASCAP. First, you will enter the songwriter's full name. Make sure you are entering their name exactly as it is registered with their PRO. Otherwise, you will not be able to register the writer. If the writer used initials or their middle name when registering with their PRO, enter their name that way. If the writer used a nickname or pen name when registering with their PRO, use that name here. Enter the writer's email address. If you don't have it, you can use your own email or another business email address. Songtrust will never email the songwriters directly. Enter the writer's birth date. Again, this is required when they register with their PRO and is used here to ensure the writer information is correct. Enter the writer's IPI. This unique identifier is required for Songtrust to register your songs with your PRO and sources around the world. IPIs are assigned by your PRO. If you don't have it, you can log into your PRO portal to find it, or you may be able to find it using the PRO's repertory search. If the writer is with ASCAP or BMI, you can find their IPI using SongView. Does the writer have a publishing entity? Some Songtrust clients have publishing entities set up with their PRO. You will know if you have this, as you will have had to set this up separately from registering with them as a writer. Clients who manage multiple songwriters usually will have a publishing entity set up with their local PRO. If you do have a publishing entity, click yes and enter the publishing company name, the PRO that it is affiliated with, and the IPI. Make sure that if you do have a publishing entity at your PRO, that you list it here. If you don't include it and Songtrust attempts to register your songs without that information, you will experience delays in registration until we can collect and add that information. The last step in adding a songwriter is signing here, which indicates that you have the rights to collect publishing royalties on behalf of this songwriter, whether it's you or someone you have an agreement with. Sign in the box using your mouse or trackpad, or you can choose to type your signature. Once you have added all this information, you can click Add Songwriter. At this point, you can go back and add any additional songwriters you need in your account, or you can move on to adding your songs. Even if you're still waiting for your PRO application acceptance, you can add your songs now. Songtrust will hold the songs you add, and once you've been accepted and we receive your IPI number from your PRO, we will attach that information to your songs and send them out for registration. Please note that Songtrust will not send out your PRO application until you've started adding songs to your account. If your songwriter doesn't yet have a PRO application, you'll click No, they need to affiliate. We offer direct affiliation from the Songtrust platform for all writers. For US based writers, you can affiliate with ASCAP or BMI. For Canada based writers, you can affiliate with SOCAN. For writers based anywhere else in the world, you can affiliate with IMRO. While IMRO is based in Ireland, they accept PRO members from every country. You'll enter their country of residence and their country of citizenship. For the US, writers can affiliate with ASCAP or BMI. Let's choose BMI today. Enter the songwriter's full name. It is best to use your full legal name to join your PRO. The information you enter here will be what is used to register your songs and collect your royalties. Enter the songwriter's email. This will be the email they use to access their writer account with their PRO, which will include tracking their writer share of their performance royalties. So please make sure this is an active email address for the individual songwriter. Enter the songwriter's personal information. In the US, you're required to enter your date of birth and social security number. Where other global PROs, you may be asked for a photograph or a scan of your photo ID. Check this box if the songwriter is primarily a composer of classical music. This is asked because some PROs have different membership requirements for classical composers. Click here to see the membership contract for the PRO and its terms. Click here to see the membership contract for the PRO and its terms. Once you accept the terms, your PRO application will be sent out to BMI, and you should expect to hear back in about a month. Once you have added all of this information, you can click Add Songwriter. At this point, you can go back and add any additional songwriters you need in your account, or you can move on to adding your songs. Even if you're still waiting for your PRO application acceptance, you can add your songs now. Songtrust will hold onto the songs that you add, and once you've been accepted and we receive your IPI number from your PRO, we will attach that information to your songs and send them out for registration. Please note that Songtrust will not send out your PRO application until you've started adding songs to your account.
Now that you have songwriters in your account, it's time to start adding your songs. First, you'll enter the song title and any alternate song titles. Your song may have alternate titles if you use contractions, numbers, or slang in your title, or if there are alternate versions out there. For example, if we were registering Nothing Compares to You, you see here, we would need to include the first spelling of the title with the original styling and the second version with the number word or words spelled out, as you see here. The next step is adding the songwriter information. You'll add your client songwriter or songwriters from the drop-down menu, and you'll enter their share of the song and whether they wrote lyrics, music, or both. Add as many client writers as have shares of the song. If you realize at this stage that you need to add another client writer, just click on Add New Songtrust Writer, which will take you back to our Add Songwriter page. Next, you'll add your non-controlled or outside writers, assuming that there are any that need to be accounted for, by choosing them from the drop-down screen, entering their share of the song, and whether they wrote lyrics, music, or both. Add as many non-controlled writers as have shares of the song. If you realize at this stage that you need to add an additional outside writer, just click on Add New Outside Co-Writer, which will take you back to our Add Songwriter page. It's important that you include as much information as you have about your non controlled outside writers, but if you're truly unable to find any details, you can add unknown writer to cover any share you don't have information for. To do this, click on Add New Outside Writer, leave the email information blank, type in writer unknown in the first and last name fields. Under PRO, you can select I don't know. IPI information just needs to be left blank, and you don't need to select anything for do they have a publisher. Click on Add New Songwriter, and you'll see this text appear that says, Are you sure you don't know your co writer's IPI number? In this case, we don't. You can continue on by clicking Add New Songwriter to complete the step. And there you have it, unknown writer as a placeholder. Once you have all the songwriters, you'll see that the shares equal 100% once you've entered in the writers in question that you're trying to submit for. So, in a circumstance where, let's say, Amanda Aubrey is being credited with 50% of a track, and this unknown writer that we just added is going to be credited with the remaining 50%, both lyrics and music for each songwriter's contribution per piece. Enter in 50%. This will turn green, and you can continue on with your next step. Next, you'll add an ISWC if you have one. For those that are unfamiliar, ISWC stands for International Standard Work Code and is a unique identifier for every composition. Do not confuse this with an ISRC, which is a unique identifier for a specific recording. We'll deal with those later, and they're very much necessary. ISWCs are assigned by your PRO. So if you've registered your song previously with your PRO and don't have an ISWC, add it here, as it's best to have as much information as possible when you send your song out. But if you don't have it or you're unable to locate it, it's optional and you shouldn't be overly concerned. Next, add your lyrics. Again, this is optional as well, but it's always best to include as much information as possible when you're registering your song. The next step is to check this box if the song you're adding is an arrangement of a public domain song, as you see here. This is very unlikely. But if the song you're adding is an arrangement of a public domain song, like a dubstep version of Twinkle Twinkle Star as an example, or a Mozart or Beethoven piece, you check yes. Public domain arrangements are paid differently than original compositions. Note, the law is very specific about what is in public domain and what is not. Do not register an arrangement of a song with us unless you are 100% sure it's in the public domain. If you register an arrangement of a song that still has an active copyright, that is infringement, and we will act accordingly. Wait, what if you have a bunch of songs with the same collaborators? The good news is you don't have to add the same information over and over again. You can copy the song splits from another song up here and just type in the first letter, select it, and you'll be good to go. Once you've entered in all the song information, you'll click register a song, but you're not done yet, as you see here with this text that will appear. You'll need to enter in your ISRC, which stands for International Standard Recording Code, and is used to identify specific recordings of a song. Say you've written a song and released an album version, a radio edit, and a live version. Each of these would have its own ISRC because each of them is a different recording. When you click on Add Recording, you'll be taken to this page, as you see here, which automatically searches for the song using our tool, which is powered by Spotify Song Database. When you find the recording that is yours, click the plus sign to add it to the song in your account. And if there are multiple recordings of the song, you can add them all here. So nothing compares to you. As you see, this is a song written by, the original version was written by Prince, made famous by Sinead O'Connor. Click on Add Recording to add Sinead's version. Click on Add Recording to add the Prince version, and you can continue all the way down the list. There's another Prince version here. Select that. This is Chris Cornell's version. Click that. The point is that you want to grab as many unique recordings as possible so that we're maximizing revenue collection for whatever title in question you happen to be submitting through our dashboard. There are very few instances in which you add a song without an ISRC. For example, if it's a piece of score written for a TV or movie that hasn't been released anywhere for streaming or purchase, that may not have an ISRC. But generally, these are quite rare. And if ISRCs exist for a song, we need them to collect all of your royalties.
In order for Songtrust to pay you when you start earning royalties, we will need your tax information. If you're based in the US and have a social security number or a US tax ID, you will fill out a W 9 form. You'll need to update your W 9 anytime you move or if you ever change your legal name. You can fill out a W 9 as an individual or as a business, depending on how your finances are arranged. Either way, you'll enter your full legal name and address information. If you're registering for Songtrust as an individual, you will click individual here and enter your social security number. If you're registering for Songtrust as a business, you will select business and enter your business's tax ID number. Please note that having a publishing entity with your PRO doesn't mean you have to form a legal business for tax purposes. You can have a personal publishing entity without incorporating or otherwise setting up a business. Once you have entered all your information, you will sign in the box using your mouse or trackpad, or you can choose to type your signature. If you are based outside of the US, you will need to fill out a W-8 BEN and upload it here. You must add your taxpayer identification to your W-8 BEN. If the form you upload does not include full tax information, we will not be able to pay you. We work with a payment provider called Payoneer to ensure our clients receive direct deposits of their royalties as soon as they are paid out. To access Payoneer, you will click on this link to follow their setup instructions to get your account set up and linked to your Songtrust account. If you have a pre existing Payoneer account that you'd like us to connect with your Songtrust account, you can use our support form to reach out to our client services team and we'll get that done for you.
Songtrust allows you to submit setlists for live performances through our platform, which we then send directly to our global partners to ensure you're paid your performance royalties. To navigate to our setlist submission feature, click on Menu, followed by Setlists. Please note that if you are with a US PRO like BMI, ASCAP, or CSAC, you cannot submit setlists for US performances through Songtrust. Those PROs only allow their US members to submit US performances directly through their own platforms, but you can submit any other performance information through us for direct registration and collection. First, you'll choose the country where you performed. For this example, I'm going to choose Mexico. From there, add the performance date, the performer in question, and the venue information. Note that you can and should submit other performers' setlists if you know they're performing your songs in their show. Next, you'll add in your songs. Songtrust makes it easy for you to add the same set list for multiple performances by allowing you to save the set lists, which will show up on the top of the screen. If you play a song that isn't in your Songtrust account, just click Song Not in Our System and add the title, performer, and songwriter information. Some countries may ask for more or different information. Let's look at Canada. Their PRO, SOCAN, includes other information in addition to performance date and venue information and set lists. You'll see here, they also ask for proof of performance. This is generally going to be a show flyer, advertisement, or show listing, which you can upload here. Once all the information is added, click Submit Setlist, and Songtrust will send it to our partner in the territory where you performed, ensuring you receiving your royalties as quickly as possible. Note that most societies have a 6-month window after the performance or setlist submission. Some allow longer, but better to be safe than sorry. Submit them as soon as you can.
Songtrust works directly with YouTube to collect royalties for your songs when they're used in YouTube videos, whether they're official videos or user generated. To navigate to our YouTube section, click on Menu followed by YouTube. Songtrust automatically places claims on any videos that have your ISRC associated with them, as well as videos without ISRC that Content ID identifies as using your song. This is one reason it's so important for you to enter your ISRCs when you add your songs. Our YouTube tool allows you to request manual claims, view current claims, and allow list channels that you don't want us to claim against, usually your own channel. Note that until recently, YouTube used the term whitelist, which is why you still see it on our platform. They now use allow list, and we will soon update this on our website. To add a manual claim for a video that uses your song, just copy and paste the URL for the video, enter the song title, and enter the time codes for when the song is playing if it doesn't appear in the full video. Content ID will usually find these videos, but sometimes, especially if it's a cover, a live version, or remix, it won't always match up. And you could also submit a claim once you find out about a video that uses your song instead of waiting for the Content ID process to find it. If you want to allow list a channel, usually our clients do this for their own YouTube channels, you just add a link here and click Add Channel. We recommend all of our clients join the YouTube Partner Program to monetize your channel directly with YouTube and ensure you're earning on them when you can. It's time to look at the reason you joined Songtrust for your royalties. Our platform has a lot of different ways you can filter your royalties. I'm not going to go into all of them here, but you can play around and explore once you start earning. And of course, you can always reach out to support if you have any questions. On your dashboard, you'll always see the most recent 3/4 of royalties, as well as the overall total royalties you've earned since joining. Here you can see that Q1 2021 is listed as estimated. This is because Q1 2021 hasn't been finalized and paid out, whereas Q3 2020 and Q4 2020 don't say estimated because they've already been paid. In some cases, you'll see 2 quarters with estimated royalties, as often will be paid for the current quarter while we're still processing the previous quarter, and we update your dashboard as soon as we process our partner statements. That way you can watch the royalties accrue as time goes on. One thing to be aware of, though, is that while royalties usually increase as a quarter goes on, occasionally there'll be a processing error with one of our partners. That may mean a number is displayed on your estimate that is higher than your final royalties. While rare, it can happen. So until your royalties are processed and paid, the numbers in the dashboard may change, though usually they'll change for the better. If you click the menu screen followed by royalties, you'll be redirected to the main royalties page. Here you'll see a pie graph and a bar graph showing your different types of income. On this page, you can filter by individual songwriter in your account if you've got more than one, as well as by time frame. Be mindful that the system can look as far back as when your earnings started with Songtrust. In this drop-down screen, you can sort by subcategories and royalty types. And to the left of that, if you click on reports, you'll see a line graph of your historical earnings activities since joining Songtrust. Below, you'll see every line item from your royalty statements. Again, you can filter by individual writer and by specific period of time on this page. And here is where you can really drill down the filtering. If you click on the funnel icon next to song, you can type in a song title or select from a drop-down list to choose it. If you click apply, you'll see only royalties from that specific song, or if you choose more than one song, to see royalties from all of them in a single report. You can also sort by the date a royalty was earned or the date of the Songtrust statement it's reported in, as well as all this other criteria, which is very granular and very easy to use. If you navigate to the top of the page again and click on map, You'll see a visual representation in a world map view, basically a bird's eye perspective of where you're earning royalties. As an FYI, the preset setting is for North America, but if you click on world at the bottom of the screen, you can sort and just hover your mouse over any territory and get a great visualization of what you've generated and from where. If you go back to the top of the page and click on export statements, you can export your statements into CSV files, which are compatible with Excel, and also with Google Sheets, QuickBooks, or whatever accounting program you are using. Any sort of exportable statement can be further analyzed and manipulated in your spreadsheet program, whatever you may use. You can export statements for a specific writer or for all writers, as you see here, or by individual song or by last quarter, as you see here. Remember that it can take 9 to 12 months for your earnings to start due to the timeline of music publishing registration and global collection. But once you start receiving royalties, we make it very easy for you to see and understand them.